Paper! Paper!
That engine is a fine example of British scientific craftsmanship.
Paper!
I don't know what that chap was wiping on my handkerchief, but it's awfully slippery. That dried-out cake almost passes as a cigar. This is an old copy of the Sporting Times from before I went to America.
Dear Piers, or should I say, gutless, unchivalrous bag of maggot-ridden offal! How dare you go off to America without me? I had to go shopping using my own allowance for weeks. You'd better get your deceitful hide round to my house immediately, or you can kiss our engagement goodbye. And you'd better have bought me a jolly expensive present too. Yours sincerely, Mirabella de Camembert, Miss.
It's an empty envelope addressed to me. This is a well-blended but industrial-strength whiskey. It's a cup of cold tea. It's covered in little holes placed in a precise pattern. Maybe if I were to make a few new holes, I could sabotage their machine. It's a little mouse, barely alive after 73's attentions. It has my address and the correct spelling of my name printed on it. This is all the ready cash I have left, a few measly pounds. This is a rather ornate membership card with my name on it. This is the latest Sporting Times, just a few days old. This box of Old Faithful snuff powder is one of the strongest available, second only to gunpowder in terms of potency. With this card and my natural grace and charm, I could probably pass myself off as royalty. This is my ticket past the shipping blockade. This should put in a good word for me in any place where they respect the word of Queen Victoria. It's one of those newfangled automatic picture painters. I don't think they'll ever catch on. So, what shall we do next, Mossop?
I wouldn't like to say so. I'm sure you've a good plan as usual.
I have nothing more to say to you.
Righty-ho, sir. Where to, Governor?
Take us home, driver. My manservant will give you directions. Half human, half feline. Who'd have thought it was possible? Stay here, but stay off the furniture. Here, kitty kitty, look, a nice, expensive, fragile piece of paper.
Oh, my goodness. I must apologize. I don't know what came over me.
Don't worry, you're doing what comes naturally to you as a cat, just as I planned. I think I've exhausted my library. Nothing seems to be of any help. I think I've exhausted my library. Nothing seems to be of any help.
Where to, Governor?
The Royal Scientific Institute, Kensington. She looks like a very fashionable lady. I've already convinced him I'm an aficionado. That's Professor Tipple, one of London's more eccentric inventors. I think he's too irate to talk to at the moment. I should wait until he's calmed down a little. '73's vandalized this punch card for me. It certainly won't perform as well as it used to. I told you it was a waste of money! Ha! Stupid contraption!
I don't understand. Computers can't go wrong. Ha 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 ha! Whoopee! I told you so, I told you so. Nah, 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 nah. Hands up all those whose expensive scientific invention is still in one piece. I don't know what you did, young man, but it showed those stuck-up academical snobs for the fools they are. At last, someone who really believes in my theories.
Absolutely. I'm keen to get involved in your experiments.
Well then, you can be my assistant on my trip to the moon. I don't need anyone from the Institute. The only qualifications needed are enthusiasm and bravery. You're obviously enthusiastic. That only leaves one question. Are you man enough for the job, my boy?
How dangerous is it likely to be?
Let's see. I need someone to go out of my rocket to explore the surface of the moon. Nobody knows for sure what's up there. There could be monsters terrifying beyond your imagination.
Ah, I see. Have you got room for one more?
I'm sure we could squeeze another person in.
Excellent. I'll bring my manservant. If there's anything dangerous up there, he'll sort it out. Or die trying. After all, that's what I pay him for.
Capital idea. Well, come to my house in Harrow later on today, and we'll be off.
Kindly refrain from tampering with the exhibits.
If they wouldn't reason with the professor, they certainly won't talk to me. She looks like a very fashionable lady. How fortunate that the infant is so quiet.
Where to, Governor?
Harrow! I assume that Professor Tipple lives in there. That's Professor Tipple, one of London's more eccentric inventors. Maybe the professor keeps birds. Hello, Professor. I'm here, as requested.
Good, good. I'm nearly ready to go. I just need a few more things for our trip.
Excellent. I'll wait for you. Is there a public house nearby where I could get a drink?
No time for that, young man. You volunteered to be my assistant, so you've got to help me prepare for this momentous journey.
Oh, very well then. What do you want?
Let's see. Fetch me some vitriol. There should be some in my laboratory somewhere. Oh, and I've misplaced the remote controller for my automaton. See if you can find it. There's a good chap.
What on earth is an automaton?
Ah, glad you asked, my boy. It's one of my inventions. Oh yes, a steam-driven machine that will help us to perform dangerous and unpleasant tasks from a safe distance.
Can't you just use a manservant like everyone else?
Good Lord, no. Servants are much too fragile. They're always breaking or bursting or going splat. My machine is far stronger and also far more versatile. I call it Robert. I'd give you a demonstration, but it's already stowed in the rocket.
So you want the vitriol and the remote control?
Yes, please, if you don't mind, young man. Oh, there's one other thing. I haven't had time to have any lunch, so be a good chap and get me something to eat. I have a bit of a hankering for a ploughman's lunch today.
What did your last servant die of?
Explosive decompression. Dreadful affair.
Sir, I am a gentleman, not a gentleman's gentleman. I do not fetch lunch.
You volunteered to be my assistant. That's what you must be.
So you want a ploughman's lunch as well?
That would be lovely. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm going to the moon.
That's the inside of the Professor's dovecote. I've never seen a contraption like that before. I don't know exactly how it works, but I'm sure I'll be the first person on my street to have one. That must be something the Professor is working on. Vitriol. That's strong acid and very dangerous. It will eat just about anything. Rather like Mossop, actually. I better be careful with this stuff. It could burn my hand off. It looks like the Professor has modified a steam engine to create his space rocket. I haven't given the Professor what he asked me for.
Where to, Governor?
The Highborn Club on Piccadilly.
Good day, Mr. Fanshawe.
Hello, Popper.
Potter, sir.
Jolly good. This is the latest Sporting Times, just a few days old. How about if I bet that lethargic lad will win the 3:30 at Ascot?
Lethargic lad? He was beaten by 8 lengths by lame Tortoise at Aintree last outing, and got thrashed by Three-Legged Fury and Mr. Slowcoach in the National. Are you sure?
Very sure. It's all in this paper. He's got odds from the bookmakers of 1,000 to 1.
Sounds like a safe bet to me. Okay, Fanshawe, I'll take you up on that. Got the results of the race yet? No? Well, don't come back until you have. I can't stand nervous punters.
I try not to speak to servants unless it's strictly necessary.
Goodbye, Mr. Fanshawe.
Cheerio, Pongo.
Potter, sir.
Excellent.
Where to, Governor?
The Crab and Sailor Public House in Whitechapel. Excuse me.
Do you mind? I'm having me dinner.
Charming. Good day, barman.
What's it to be then, sir?
I'd like one of your ploughman's lunches, please, good barman.
Oh, would you now? A ploughman's lunch? That's for your working men, and I can see by your manner that you're a toff. You've never done an honest day's work in your life. How dare you come in here and pretend that you're a working man? You want a ploughman's lunch? Go and plough a field. I'm not serving you. On your penny farthing, mate.
I am a working man.
And what makes you think that?
fights. Your mother was a gin-addled, ugly alcoholic, haggard, toothless old harlot who couldn't read or write.
Just 'cause you knew me mum doesn't mean you're working class, mate. I've told you before, I'll only serve me ploughman's lunches to real working men.
I am a working man.
And what makes you think that?
I don't really know.
I thought as much. You haven't got a clue what a real working man is.
Okay, what is he then?
Well, I'm in the liquor business, and I can always tell a man's character by what he drinks.
What does a real man drink then?
Real men drink something that is feared throughout civilization. The scourge of sanity, the destroyer of livers, the breaker of wheels. Real men? Ha! They quaff a drink so utterly evil that it devours them even as they devour it. Real men drink scrumpy.
Cider? Is that all?
It's not cider. It might be made from apples, but the contaminants that go into each glass make each mouthful a near suicidal undertaking. It rots your teeth, your guts and your brain. Heaven never smiled upon this sour, joyless pint of miserable corruption, sir. It's the devil's own handiwork, his finest handiwork. No other drink comes close.
Well, I'll have a pint of scrumpy then, please. Straight glass. If it's the only way to prove to you that I am a working man and that I have a legitimate right to eat a ploughman's lunch, then by golly, I'll do it.
Here you go then, sir. 1 pint of scrumpy, and may the Lord have mercy on your soul. I believe this week's special contaminant is a dead sheep's carcass.
That's the concoction I'm supposed to be drinking. Well, I believe in sharing, so... Mossop, care to try some?
No delegation. The working man drinks his own drink.
Oh, well, bottoms up. I think I've earned my lunch now, wouldn't you say?
That I would, sir. I take my hat off to you. You are definitely a real working man.
Don't say it, Mossop. It's my ploughman's lunch, and by golly did I earn it. He looks like a career alcoholic. I do not wish to continue this conversation. Can you do me a favor, old chap?
Oh, don't do nothing for free. If you were to cross my palm with something valuable, I might be able to help you.
This is all the ready cash I have left. A few measly pounds. I only really have enough money for a very small purchase. I don't partake in that sort of thing. Call me old-fashioned, but I believe the only thing that should go up one's nose is fresh, clean air. Mind you, ask Mossop. He probably says it's his finger. I shall hold on to as many of my possessions as I can.
Where to, Governor?
Harrow.
You found it! Splendid, splendid. You'd better keep hold of it for the time being. I don't want to lose it again. I can be quite absent-minded at times, you know. Oh, super. You got it. Do me a favour and hang on to it for me. If I take it now, I'll only lose it. Oh, thank you. I'm going to enjoy this. Righty-ho. I've got everything I need now, so I'd better be off. Full moon, you see. If it wanes, there'll be less to land on. Might miss. Thank you for your help, young man. Be seeing you.
Wait a minute, I thought you said we could go with you.
Oh, did I? I'm sorry. You know, I'd love to have you on board, but I'm afraid I've had second thoughts about taking non-scientific personnel with me. I'd never get insurance.
But you can't just leave me behind, not after all I've done for you.
Why do you feel you have to accompany me?
You'd get into too much trouble by yourself.
Nonsense, lad. I'm perfectly able to take care of myself.
I'm doing scientific research of my own.
Really? What research is that?
I want to research the view from the moon.
What's so interesting about the view from up there?
I want to look at the Earth from the moon.
Why would you want to look at the Earth from so far away?
I'm looking for a specific geographic structure not shown on any maps.
Really? How fascinating. What equipment are you bringing?
I've got a camera.
You'll need some flash powder then, or the photograph won't come out. Come back when you've got it.
I shall hold on to as many of my possessions as I can. I haven't got what I need for the trip yet. It's one of those new-fangled automatic picture painters. I don't think they'll ever catch on. I should wait until it's set up in a suitable location first.
Where to, Governor?
The docks. I may consult you later, old chap.
Look, if you haven't actually got a ship, you shouldn't really hang around the docks. These sailors, they could get a wrong idea about you.
Where to, Governor?
Barnsbury. Wait here, Mossop.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, Gertrude.
I made some tea and cake.
Very good, Gertrude. I will be talked at by you later, my sweet. This should make the teacup very slippery indeed. This cup is covered in grease. It's liable to slip out of my hands.
It's cold!
It's Vichyssoise tea, my dear. Very fashionable on the continent. The sun will warm it up for you.
Oh, the cup's all greasy.
It's, Wedgwood waxy china crockery, dear. Extremely popular with the royal family, I hear.
Well, why didn't you say so? If it's good enough for royalty, it's good enough for me.
Look what I found, dear. It was just about to run up your leg.
Oh, get that thing away from me! Get it away!
I hope she won't act like that on our wedding night. Oh dear, Mirabella seems to have dropped her engagement ring. This is the most dastardly thing a chap could do, but I'll give it back to her once I've finished with it.
Piers, you worm! How could you let that horrible thing near me? It was as big as a rat! You're never coming near me again!
On the other hand,
Where to, Governor?
the Crab and Sailor Public House in Whitechapel. Here you are, my good man.
Well, this will do nicely. I just can't resist a nice bit of jewellery. As long as it's not fake, mind. An expensive bauble like this will buy you a big favour in my book.
Can you do me a favour, old chap?
You've paid for my time. What do you want me to do?
I want you to adjust the date of this newspaper and make this look like the latest edition. And, change the result of the horse race while you're at it.
I can't just change the date. A proper forgery requires using authentic material. If you want a good job done, you'll need to get me a new edition of the paper so I can do a bit of cut and paste.
Where to, Governor?
Blackfriars Station.
Paper!
I see no reason for giving things away unnecessarily.
Paper!
Is the new edition of the Sporting Times out yet?
Not till next week, Governor.
You are not worthy of my attention, boy. This is a well-blended but industrial-strength whiskey.
Paper! Paper! Paper!
Where to, Governor?
Harrow. I ought to be a little more discerning in where I leave my possessions. My goodness! This would make a potent explosive substance unless I'm very much mistaken. Not enough to open a safe, but it might be useful as flush powder for a camera. What will I need for my research again, Professor?
You've got everything you need for the trip. Now hurry along and board the rocket. I'd like to be home by tea time, you know. Right, everyone on board. I'm logging liftoff time at 13 minutes past 1. Oh, I hope that's not a bad omen. Of course not, Professor. It's the hour that makes it unlucky, and it's 1 o'clock, not 13 o'clock, so we're okay. Ready for takeoff. 5, 4, can I go to the toilet? 3.
Oh, Mossop, you should have gone before we left.
2. This isn't going to be a rough ride, is it? I get seasick, you know. 1. It worked! My rocket actually worked!
I have to say, I am amazed, Professor. We are thousands of miles from the Earth in a converted steam engine on our way to the moon. Quite remarkable.
The moon, yes. About that, we may actually be going to a different destination.
A different destination? What different destination?
That is, as they say, the question. All I am sure of is that we will miss the moon on this current trajectory.
But I thought you worked it all out, calculated everything. Then what went wrong?
The answer is in the mass of this vehicle and the force required to propel it. Well, I allowed for myself and 1 assistant on board, but we brought your manservant as well, and he's rather plump.
I might have known it was Mossop's fault. Even 20,000 miles in space, he's no earthly good. Shall I throw him out?
It's too late for that now. You see, we lifted off using the propulsion force required for a lesser mass, so therefore we will...
Miss the moon.
Exactly.
So we're doomed to drift in space forever.
Oh, no, certainly not. We'll plunge into the sun by tea time.
That makes me feel so much better. What can we do about it?
Nothing, I'm afraid.
Nothing? Professor, we will die if we can't change course. Is there no steering wheel or rudder?
Space rockets don't work like that, young man. They use adjustable engine output to direct them to the target. Wait a minute. That's it. We can steer the rocket to the moon using the engine.
Oh, thank goodness.
Oh, no, we can't. The trajectory has to be worked out precisely using an adding machine, and mine is back in my laboratory. It would take far too long to work out the mathematics by hand.
What about your automaton? Couldn't that work it out?
Good heavens, no. If Robert had a brain, there's no way he'd have come on this mission.
Drat. Couldn't we just guess the force needed from the engines? Steer by eye?
I suppose it's possible, but it would be trial and error. One mistake, and we're doomed.
Then that's what we've got to try.
Couldn't we calculate it using my fingers and toes, sir?
Mossop, with a limited air supply, the last thing you should do is remove your socks. Now just leave this to me. That has definitely not been tailored in Savile Row. It's not exactly the most fashionable item of gentleman's apparel I've ever seen, but it will be necessary if I want to go outside. He's quite happy eating his blessed ploughman's lunch. Excuse me, Professor. He looks terrified, poor little chap. I do hope he won't be sick. At least you haven't been sick, Mossop.
Not yet, sir, no. But I am seeing stars before my eyes whenever I look out of the porthole.
How do you feel?
I'm all right, sir. But it's a bit stuffy in here. Maybe if I opened the window.
I don't think that would be a good idea, Mossop. So, what shall we do next, Mossop?
I wouldn't like to say so. I'm sure you've a good plan as usual.
I have nothing more to say to you.
Righty-ho, sir.
It's an automaton with superficial intelligence. What an ingenious contraption. Now is not the time to take control of Robert. We're still going to miss the moon. It's very solidly attached to the structures above and below it. That's one of the metal pipes connecting the tanks together in here. I'm afraid sheer brute force will not remove that pipe. I imagine the Professor used that when he was constructing this vehicle. It's the pipe I removed from those big gas tank things. I hope it wasn't important. This lever controls the horizontal movement of the rocket. This lever seems to control vertical movement. This lever regulates engine output. That seems to have aligned the levers correctly. The controls won't stay in place. I must find a way to hold them steady. We're still going to miss the moon. If I break the window, we're sure to be sucked out into outer space. Not that either of my two companions would fit through the porthole, of course. It's the pipe I removed from those big gas tank things. I hope it wasn't important. I've definitely seen garden laborers using one of those. I'll need this to dig for the professor's minerals. We're still going to miss the moon. We're still going to miss the moon. That seems to have aligned the levers correctly. That should hold the levers in place. We made it. No thanks to you, Professor. I just hope you can get us back.
Oh, there's no problem about that. I'll recalculate the return trajectory while you're out getting the spoils of exploration.
What spoils? Now, Professor, it's time to come clean and tell me just what you expect to find up here. What is it? Gold? Gems? Oil? Well, it must be something very valuable for you to go to all this trouble.
I suppose it's going to be impossible to keep it a secret now. The fact is, my research has led me to the conclusion that the moon is composed entirely...
Yes?
of cheese.
Of cheese?
Yes, a variant of cheddar, I believe.
You're mad.
Oh, hardly. When I return to Earth with a rocket full of tipple cheddar, which, because of its exclusivity, I can charge £5 an ounce for at least, I'll be rich. If that's madness, then open the doors to Bedlam, 'cause I'm coming in.
One small step for man, one giant leap for the cheese industry. Oh no, it's the Professor's automaton. Oh well, since Mossad doesn't have a spacesuit that fits, at least Robert can take all the risks. Well, there's no cheese here. It looks as if I'll have to take my search underground. There won't be any mineral deposits out here. It's only moon dust. Looks like a way round the chasm. But it's a pity my suit is too bulky to get through. Maybe an aerial view will help me find what's referred to as the Panther's Eye. That's it. Now all I need to do is take a picture. I've never done this before. I hope it can combust without air. Thank goodness there wasn't any oxygen around to make the explosion any bigger. That snuff is obviously very strong. This is a photograph of the Panther's Eye. Looks like a way round the chasm, but it's a pity my suit is too bulky to get through. Looks like a way round the chasm, but it's a pity my suit is too bulky to get through. There, a bridge. So the automaton came in handy after all. And you don't have to pay it wages either. If I can find one that can cook, Mossop's days are numbered. There's no cheese here. As I thought, the professor is completely wrong. I'd better get some rock samples just to prove my point. The result of my digging efforts. There. At least I can prove that the moon is not made of cheese. It's not cheese, that's for sure. I ought to be a little more discerning in where I leave my possessions. Now is not the time to take control of Robert. Well, there's no cheese here. It looks as if I'll have to take my search underground.
Found my cheese yet?
Not yet, Professor.
Well, stop messing around in here and get out and find it.
I think I've given the Professor quite enough for one day. what will I collect the cheese with?
Have this extractor. You can use it to sample the various cheeses and select the tastiest.
It's primarily used for cheese tasting. It's a powdery yellow substance. I believe it's quite volatile. I'm back, Professor.
Marvellous! How much cheese is there? Am I going to be a millionaire or a multi-millionaire?
Now, how do I put this? Well, there is no cheese here. There's dust, there's rocks, there's craters, but no cheese. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being a moon covered in cheese and 1 being no cheese whatsoever, I'd say this place is minus 658. You'd find Americans on the moon before finding cheese there.
No cheese? You lie! You just want to keep it all for yourself, you cad! You want to grab my gorgonzola, rob me of my roquefort, purloin me of my parmesan, cheat me out of my cheddar!
Professor, if it makes you any happier, I did find this mineral. It's yellow, but it's not at all cheesy, I'm afraid.
Looks like a phosphate compound to me, found in chemistry labs all over the world. That's hardly a discovery.
I'm sorry, Professor. That's just the way it is.
Well, it doesn't matter now, anyway.
That's the spirit, Professor. Don't dwell on failure. Move onwards to success.
No, I mean, it really doesn't matter, because we're going to die!
Professor, what have you done?
Actually, it's what you did. When you broke that pipe in order to stabilize the engines, you severed the oxygen supply in the cabin. We haven't got enough fresh air to make it back to Earth.
It's a powdery yellow substance. I believe it's quite volatile. I don't remember much about the sciences at school, but I have a vague recollection that adding acid to things ending in 8 produces oxygen. Or does it explode?
You did it! Dear boy, I had no idea you were a chemist.
Actually, neither had I. Right, can we be off now?
But I haven't got my cheese!
I've told you already, Professor. There is no cheese. Accept it.
I can't believe it. My life's work wasted. Why is it everything I do goes wrong? My first project, Kipple's patent depilation cream, the only one of its kind, ruined by an idiot research assistant. Then my next project, to bring a dead body back to life by repairing it with parts of other corpses, all my ideas stolen by some Austrian doctor. And now this!
Come on, Professor. We better get you home.
Oh dear.
What now?
Well, when I recalculated the return trajectory, I naturally assumed we'd be laden with Tipple's cheddar.
Stop there. I can guess the rest. We're going much too fast and we're going to miss the Earth.
Hit the Earth?
Hit the Earth, then. Let me guess. At such a velocity, none of us will survive the impact.
Unless something cushions our landing, that is.
Quick, Mossop, get outside and hang on to the front of the rocket. We need something soft and spongy to soften the blow.
Sir? That won't work, young man. We're doomed.
That wasn't so bad, was it? Well, my photograph is still intact, so I've got what I need to continue on my mission. Good day, Professor.
But Robert! What about Robert? We left him on the moon.
Oh, he'll be all right. Maybe one day you'll be able to go back for him. Just don't ask me to come along next time.
Where to, Governor?
The Crab and Sailor Public House in Whitechapel. This is the latest Sporting Times, just a few days old. Will this do for your forgery?
Aye, that it will. Give it here. I don't know what you're going to do with this, but I'll bet it's not the sort of business a gentleman like yourself should be involved with.
That's the advantage of being a gentleman. You're always the last to come under suspicion.
Come back a bit later, and you'll have your stuff.
Where to, Governor?
Take us home, driver. My manservant will give you directions. Stay here, but stay off the furniture.
Where to, Governor?
The Crab and Sailor Public House in Whitechapel. It seems the forger has finished his handiwork. There's nothing like a sure bet.
Where to, Governor?
The Highborn Club on Piccadilly.
Good day, Mr. Fanshawe.
Hello, Pitman.
Potter, sir.
Jolly good. That forger chap has changed the date and results, so this looks like today's paper. Gentlemen, I have here, wet off the press, I mean hot off the press, the results of the 3:30. It appears my horse romped home.
Dash and blast. At those odds. Oh, well, Fanshawe, a wager's a wager, and I suppose you'll deserve your winnings. I will make the necessary arrangements for you to have my ship. If you go down to the docks, the captain will be instructed to do your bidding. Look for the SS Farragut.
Thank you, gentlemen. It was a pleasure doing business with you.
Goodbye, Mr. Fanshawe.
Cheerio, Pollock.
Potter, sir.
Excellent.
Where to, Governor?
The docks. This is my ticket past the shipping blockade. Here's my permission from Queen Victoria herself to bypass the shipping blockade.
You must have good connections.
No, I don't want to go there. Now can I go on board my ship?
Nope.
Why not?
Well, as harbour master, I have to ensure that all the ships that leave have proper plans for their routes, or else they'll get lost and sink. You haven't lodged a route plan with me.
Now listen here, my good fellow. I am a free-spirited wanderer of this fair planet. I wish to sail across the deep blue waters, to feel the fresh oceanic breeze blowing through my hair and the cold sea spray splashing on my face. I will explore the far-flung corners of uncharted territories.
So, you have no idea of where you're going.
No.
Then you've got a problem, sir.
I can't file route plans. I'm on a secret mission.
Only the Royal Navy is allowed to go on secret missions, lad. And they sail out of Portsmouth. Civilian ships have to file plans.
Can't I bribe you to let us leave without filing route plans?
Bribe? Me? A well-respected harbour master? Accepting a bribe? Oh, I couldn't possibly do that. It wouldn't be right.
I see you smoke a pipe.
Aye, it's my one and only vice. I travelled all over the world when I was younger, and I found that the best way to judge a place was to test the strength of the local tobacco. If it produced sweet, aromatic wisps of smoke, then the place was full of landlubbers and tourists and wasn't worth a second look. I always hated those places.
What about the places that you did like?
Ah, the baccy you got from my sort of place made smoke that was thick, black, and made you cough so hard that medical students queued up to dissect you.
And that's a good thing, is it?
Oh, aye. What I wouldn't give for a really strong bit of tobacco. No one makes it like they used to, you know. All those quacks and professors saying it's bad for you. Ah! What do they know? They'll be saying scurvy does you harm next.
I may consult you later, old chap.
That's not a true mariner's map. Just a pretty picture.
If you like strong tobacco, old chap, I've got a cigar that you might like to try. It's got a unique flavor, I hear. Each one is lovingly rolled on the thighs of women of loose morals and easy virtue. Then it's left to ferment in a tar pit for 20 years. There's a very limited supply of these, you know.
Well, thank you very kindly, young man. I'm never averse to trying a new smoke.
Oh my goodness, are you all right?
All right. Oh, by golly, lad. That's the best cigar I've ever had. Kicks like a mule, but with a subtle, fruity flavor to it. Where did you get it from?
Oh, a long way away. In fact, I could go and get you some more if you'd like.
Yes, please. That would be right noble of you.
Capital. But there is one small problem. They only make that type of cigar on a remote tropical island, the location of which is a well-guarded secret. If I were to file plans to go there, everyone would be able to get to the island and buy these cigars, and stocks would dwindle, making them impossible to obtain.
Whereabouts is this island, then? I've been all over the world, and I've never even heard of an island such as that.
It's on the Tropic of Cancer, but I can't tell you any more than that. I'm sworn to secrecy.
Okay then, lad. We'll do a deal. I'll let your ship leave without filing official plans, but I'll have to say you're an explorer, and that you're drawing the map as you go.
How ingenious.
You'd better take one of my Imperial maps, though. Otherwise you'll never find your way out of the English Channel.
Thank you. I'll return with more cigars as soon as I can. Looks like he's having trouble with that rope. I hope they're not on my crew. They don't look like gentlemen in pursuit of good conversation. He's just a dock worker. Come on, Mossop. Let's get on board for a life on the ocean wave, the smell of the sea, the pitching of the ship.
The vomiting of the manservant?
Oh, really, Mossop? You should be getting used to it by now. Come along, Mossop. Did you dispose of all that junk that was cluttering up my pockets?
I certainly did, sir.
One can never be too careful on a ship that pitches and tosses to and fro.
Oh, please don't remind me, sir.
Stop fussing, Mossop. There's no time to lose. We've got to find our captain and set sail immediately. Aha! One of my sailors is actually doing something. Although, quite what he is doing is another matter. The Union Jack sends a shiver of patriotism down my spine. I can't possibly reach that. He seems to have made friends with the marine wildlife. That staircase leads up to the bridge. He's the captain of the Farragut. Good day, Captain. I am Piers Fanshawe, the new owner of this vessel. I trust you were made aware of this.
Aye, sir, that I was. Welcome aboard the Farragut. I'm Captain Scott.
You're not related to those Scots who do all that exploration, are you?
Unfortunately, no. That family anglicised their name from Scotelsky when they moved to England. I'm one of the original Scots.
I see. Very well, Captain Scott. I command you to take us out to sea on a mission of such secrecy I cannot tell you our destination until we're at least 20 miles from land, and even then I must whisper.
Whatever you say, sir. Splice the anchor, man the breeches, untie the gibbet. Slow ahead.
I say, Scott, are you sure you've sailed before?
Aye, aye, sir. Stow the poop. Right, Mr. Fanshawe. Where do ye want to go?
Well, Captain, it's a slightly tricky situation, in that I know the location I want to visit, but I don't know the whereabouts of said location.
So what do you suggest? Shall we just cruise around until we find something that vaguely resembles what you're looking for?
There is a chap who could help us. You may have heard of him. Name's Nematode. Captain...
Nematode? That scurvy spawn of a jellyfish? You won't get any help from that scuttling submariner.
You know him?
Know him? He sunk my last ship with that infernal submarine of his. Part of his crusade to bring down the world order or something like that. He's completely barmy. Lack of oxygen, I expect. Got to his brain.
Do you know where we could find him?
Last I heard, he was hiding out in the ice floes to the north. He can travel under the ice to escape pursuers, you see. That would be the first place I'd look.
Then north it is, Captain.
Aye, aye, sir. Just one problem, Mr. Fanshawe. I seem to have mislaid my favourite seafaring map. I haven't seen it since I finished colouring in the Asian continent. Without it, I may have problems sailing north.
I see. Leave it to me.
Perfect! Fasten the linchpins, lock tight the bootstraps. We sail north.
Captain, what's wrong? Why have we stopped?
It's the engines, lad. They cannot take it any longer. The previous owner never spent any money on maintenance, so everything's been fixed with string, spit and prayer.
But can you fix it?
Not easily. I've been doing all I can. We have to limp back to port and go into dry dock to find the problem. I need 4 days.
We don't have 4 days, Scotty. We've got 4 hours. We must get going as soon as possible. My manservant is pretty good with mechanical things, and I'm not a complete duffer. Between us, we should be able to patch the engine up enough to get us where we need to go.
I cannot work miracles, but I wish you luck, gentlemen.
Oh, I'm the gentleman, Mossop's the servant. Just thought I'd make that clear. Are you feeling sick yet, Mossop?
I'm all right as long as I can still see land, sir.
But we're miles away from the shore. There's no land in sight.
Thank you for pointing that out, sir.
Are you excited about our latest adventure, Mossop?
I'd be a lot happier if we were on dry land, sir.
So, what shall we do next, Mossop?
I wouldn't like to say so. I'm sure you've a good plan as usual.
I have nothing more to say to you.
Righty-ho, sir. Meal overboard!
My crew don't seem very busy. I don't want to disturb him. It's used for grabbing small boats, I guess. I can't possibly reach that. It's used for grabbing small boats, I guess. It's one of those instruments of audio torture. I suppose the captain uses it to warn off other ships in fog. I suppose it might come in handy, if not as a musical instrument, but as a weapon anyway. It's a stuffed porcupine, and it's covered with sharp spines. They're like big needles. I suppose this is a souvenir from one of the captain's previous voyages. It looks so old and mangy, I could just pull a spine out of its skin with my bare hands. Watch out, Mossop. If that had hit your head, the tip would have broken off and it would have been useless.
Sorry, sir.
I'm going to need something pretty strong to open that window. My bare hands will never be strong enough unaided. He's one of my crew. I don't fancy a nautical discussion right now. I don't fancy a nautical discussion right now. That lazy bird seems to be hitching a ride with us. That can be used to load heavy cargo. Maybe we should have used it to help Mossop get on board. I can't possibly reach that. Curses! It's rusted in place. I'll never shift it. I'm no mariner, but I was under the apprehension that a seafaring vessel was supposed to be relatively free of holes. He's one of my crew. This gauge shows boiler pressure, but the needle is gone. There's no way of telling what it's reading. This quill should make an effective needle. There's no boiler pressure at all. There must be a leak in the pipe somewhere. It's leaking. It will have to be sealed with grease or some other sticky, viscous substance. It's a standard tool for engineers. If I'm going to fix this boat, I shall get myself the proper tools. Full of oil, I should think. I'd better be careful not to get too greasy. It needs to be brought back up to full steam. That should make it easier for the winch to swing round now. There, that should stop the sailor spinning over the side of the ship. It's leaking. It will have to be sealed with grease or some other sticky, viscous substance. Well, at least I opened it. That should stop anything leaking through that hole. Why am I doing this? Thank goodness I found a use for that evil stuff. Oh, there's still no pressure. There must be another leak somewhere. Super! I've managed to seal the valve. There's a hole in the pipe. I must seal it somehow. I can't possibly reach that. I say, Mossop, be a top man and get that flag for me. I can't quite reach.
But you're taller than I am.
Yes, but this is a fitted suit from Savile Row. Any vigorous arm movements could put a strain on the stitching.
Oh yes, sir, of course. But I still can't reach.
Well, try. There's a good chap. There. That should seal the hole and stop the leak. There's some pressure now. All I have to do now is stoke up the boiler a bit to get the steam pressure back up to full power. There. That should restore the engines to perfect order. We can get on our way now. Captain, I could have sworn I saw something on that small iceberg. Pull up alongside. I want to investigate.
Very well. Break out the spinnaker. Button down the mizzen. Hoist the yardarm.
By Jove, sir, it's so good to be off that ship. I hate being sick.
I should say so. At least there was only the one mishap.
Yes, sir. Sorry about your shoes.
Never mind, Mossop.
And your waistcoat, sir.
It's all right, Mossop. Really, it is.
And I'm really sorry about your jacket. And your valise. And your brandy flask. And your best hat. And the back of your neck.
Yes, yes, Mossop. It's a good job I don't really need any of the items we couldn't clean properly, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Right, Mossop. Let's search this iceberg for clues to Captain Nematode's whereabouts.
Sir, I think that might be a clue.
Mossop, your powers of observation never cease to amaze me.
Hello, travellers. I'm Captain Nematode, and you are on board my submarine, the Naughtiness. Now, who are you? What do you want?
I am Piers Fanshawe, and this is my faithful manservant, Mossop. I'm here to ask you for your help.
I don't help land dwellers, especially upper-class parasites like yourself. But you can help me. In fact, you can be my prisoners. I need some bargaining power to keep the Royal Navy off my back.
You can't take us prisoner.
I think you'll find I already have, Mr. Fanshawe.
Bye.